OK, time now for our regular package of all the day's highlights with the man who really is bringing the art of football summary to a new level. Listen and learn, Lineker. This is Jim Bowen.
Hey! Croatia and Mexico was 0-0 when Big Boris brings down Blanco in the box. The Mexican going down like a sack of spuds. The crazy Croat defender, he gets his marching orders. That's the first of this year's Mondial. Blanco blasts home the penalty, and the tacos are on him. 1-0, smashing, super great. So it's hats off to the El Mexicanos! Turkey take a shock lead against the mighty Brazil. Hasan Sass with the goal for the underdogs. Ronaldo equalises, showing why he's known as the Brazilian Nat Lofthouse. And then the Turks go bonkers. Alpe pays for his wickedness with a carte rouge, and he's off for an early back. Rivaldo buries a bastard from the spot. 2-1. Another Turk gets his marching orders. He kicks the ball at Rivaldo's bollocks, and not surprisingly, he goes down clutching his head. That's really not fair. Now, Ecuador may be the true home of the Panama hat, but that didn't help them in their match against the Italians. Vieri gooses the granny out of it for the first, and then he helps himself to seconds. 2-0 to the Azzurri. Hey, lovely couple. Hey, listen to Tony. Look at what you could have won. Go home.
Jim Bowen. Gary, can I just ask you, what bonuses were you on as a player in the World Cup? Or what sort of bonuses were around when you were playing World Cup football?
Well, it tended to be money, generally.
Just cash?
Yeah. I think we might have been offered a computer from Alan Sugar at Tottenham at one stage.
Oh, that's nice. That's cheap,
nice
isn't
touch.
it? I think that's because as Mexico, they've got a great bonus scheme. What they get is, they get a Volkswagen Golf if they get the quarterfinals. They get a...
The Gulf of Mexico?
The Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, God,
they get a...
That was truly awful. Ow, now.
Do you know what? Gary, that was shit. Okay, but no, listen, they get
that very well.
No, they get a Jetta for the semi-finals.
Nice.
And then they get a Passat.
Now I know you're taking the
No,
Passat.
they get a Passat when they win the... What do you think of that? Do you think that's a good scheme there? It's genuine.
Could be.
That's a good... make you play better?
I think it probably could.
What do you think of that?
Well, you've got a Golf, why do you need a Passat?
That's exactly my point.
You know, they've all got their car needs fulfilled in a Golf.
Yeah.
They'll be like, all right, I'm off home now, then kick the ball back, right.
But also, you check the depreciation on a Passat, yeah? That's running around 63% on 3 years. Golf, they bottom out, don't they, on a second
Just imagine them offering Beckham a Passat.
Yeah, imagine that. Dave. And get this, David. If you win, you're going to be sat.
You give it to his dog to drive.
Yeah, right. Now, we learned yesterday from our man in Japan just how many of the fans at the games are women. In fact, 60% of people who go to Japanese football are ladies. What is the Japanese kind of football experience for a player? You're almost in the unique position in Britain. I haven't played there.
Yeah, I had a couple of years there, and it was very much women. It's probably even a bigger percentage then. It was something new. It was a lot of young girls there, and it was like playing in one of those schoolboy internationals.
Do you know,
it's very young girls, if you don't mind.
There were young girls there, John.
Young girls.
A lot of young girls. And only one Gary. What do you think they liked about you when you were at Grand Passat? What did the female fans... I mean,
I honestly think they liked the way I sat on the bench for most of the 2 seasons. I sat very nicely.
Your thighs really spread well.
You know, short shorts and...
OK. Did you feel that when you were on the pitch, did you get a sense that you were being mentally undressed?
No. My fellow striker at one stage, I thought, maybe...
Yeah. You mentally undressed him? Right, OK.
No. That's not what I meant.
You've been quoted as actually saying you'd like to... Well, you used a different word, but it was euphemistic for have sex with Juan Sebastian Veron.
Yeah, but that was before I actually met him, you see, because I used to think that Juan Sebastian Veron looked like the kind of man who would, well, bend you over. They'll probably edit that.
What I love about that is that's made that guy wave his England flag.
But no, I used to think he was a bit all right, but then I met him and he was actually a right grumpy sod. Like, yeah, really grumpy. So I went right off him then. So no. You look at Gary and you think, oh, top shagger, you know, you want someone who's going to show you the four corners. So...
I don't think Gary's going to sue over that.
No.
I don't think Gary's going to demand that comes out from the show.
Leave it in.
But the point is watching football for you? This is what I often think. I think I see a lot of women when I go and watch games. Seems to be a lot more women there than back in the day. And I wonder if you're getting a bit of a twofer. Not only are you getting the excitement of the game, but you're kind of getting that thing. It's like when my dad watches figure skating with women. And he pretends he's into it, but I know he's getting like 2 hours of gliding gusset. It's really what he's saying.
Quite
or the
often.
Cornucova factor with tennis. We enjoy watching the game, but also Anna's fairly titillating. So do you get that at football?
Well, it's true. You see, when I first started being into football, I really kind of protested too much. No, I'm not there to look at the bloke's legs. I'm there because I love the football. I do love the football, but, you know, I had to kind of protest too much so that people took me seriously loving football. And now, because loads of women are into football, you can go, yeah, I get to see loads of really fit blokes as well, like the Italian team. Christian Vieri, he'd show you the four corners, wouldn't he? Hello. Look at the Roman gladiator, that man.
Tick all the boxes, love.
Ooh.
OK, do you know what? This is going somewhere, because we took this Panini, you know, the sticker out there, it's got every player in the World Cup. They're cheering Panini now, marvellous. And we gave it to our panel at work, who included receptionist Jean. We also got Bev in accounts, and Ken in IT. I will tell you now, but a bit about Ken is a promiscuous homosexual. He loves it. Multiple partners, humiliation, he goes the whole 9 yards.
Does he like Swan's best in Braun as well, then?
Well, you'll see what he selected. You've had a look through them this afternoon. They pulled out their top 16. We then put this to the vote with every woman, gay and bi-curious man in the office. They narrowed it down to 8. From that 8, I gather you've now narrowed it down to your top 4 from this World Cup.
Oh, yes, my top 4. Well, obviously I had to choose it from those 8, so Christian Vieri wasn't in it, so he's not there. But Matt Holland, I think, is looking particularly fetching. That's not a good photo of him, but I met him when I was up at Ipswich, and he's a fit lad. Freddie Lundberg, obviously he's a bit of an Arsenal thing going on there. But he is a little bit boy band. He's heading in there, you know, with Bex and Raoul.
Yeah, he's got that funny streak thing.
And very, very high cheekbones, big eyes. But he's cute. He's cute. And then the guy who scored the goal for the... Who was it? Oh, that's it, him. El Hadji Diouf. How do you pronounce it? Diouf.
El Hadji Diouf.
Yeah, the one that he scored the goal against France. How do you say it again?
El Hadji Diouf.
Say it again.
El Hadji Diouf.
Top shagger.
Well,
top
it's
shagger.
crackling over there, it really is.
Yeah, no, he's a little bit boy band, but he's cute as well.
Gary, sorry, do you go through and make sure you get all the pronunciations right for every player in this? Is that part of your training before the World Cup?
I'm not really, I was never very good at training. The ones we talk about, I try and practice a few times before we do it, you know, during the first half. It's about as much training as I do.
OK, Lisa, thank you very much for that, Gary. That's an interesting insight.
I'm pleased you were so excited.
I was excited by that, Gary. Lisa, who's your number 1 then?
My number 1 out of those 8 was Paolo Maldini, who is... That's a really bad photo of him, but he kind of has that Italian...
It's funny being Italian, isn't it?
Stallion thing. I don't know. All the ladies in the audience are going, he's looking like a minger. I can tell. I'm getting those vibes, but he's got something about him. OK, the Lisa Rogers' soccer studs. Could I also say, even though they didn't make the final cut, Ken, you remember Ken, he wanted me to say that he found these 3 intriguing in a very private way. Ken liked Oliver Kahn. Oh, he's a minger.
Yeah, he also liked... Next chap, Ken found he... thought Lai Tai was intriguing, and also Carlos Puyol he said he had, and I quote, a dark freakishness about him. Pujol. There we go. Gary, on a cheerier note, have you seen Gaza on ITV?
I have. I have seen Gaza on ITV, yes. And
that's that wrapped up there.
He's great. Comedy value superb.
I don't know if it, but do you think there's a I don't know if
a sentence in there somewhere.
No, I was just wondering if at times he looked like he'd run out of vocab.
What, Gaza?
Yes.
Well, I find that difficult to believe.
Yeah, I find it difficult to believe as well. OK, finally, how irritating it watching England concede a goal when Hansen is there.
Well, he was there when England did concede the goal, and I was just walking away with my script, and I was just saying to them, tell you what, they're going to equalise. Look what we just made so many mistakes, and they scored, and I just got my script and I threw it at him. Threw it at Hansen.
You actually attacked Hansen.
And I missed.
No.
That's good, guys.
Is he just unbelievably smug? I mean,
No,
really
he's not smug at all, actually. I mean,
Isn't he?
No, he...
Oh, bet he is.
Underneath it all, he's a closet England fan.
Is he?
Is he?
No, but I wish he was.
Now, we all know the World Cup generates a lot of statistics. The fastest goal scored in a quarter-final by an African player, the number of times a former Ireland captain uses the C word in one sentence. So, who better to make them digestible than a man who's made statistics his business? He breathes life into bare facts and figures, and he's here on a free transfer from Election Night Special. The walking calculator, the king of swing. Welcome, please, Mr. Peter Snow!
I don't know about you, Johnny, but if you're anything like me and you want to know about England's chances, you'll want to base your forecast on some solid facts and figures. So first of all, the historical scorecard. Now, it's an exclusive club, this handful of World Cup winners. Only 7 altogether in 3/4 of a century. At top, you guessed it, Brazil, with 4 wins. Then 2 European powers with 3 wins each. And 2 South American champs with 2 wins each. France and, hurrah, last England with just 1 win. Now, let's measure the consistency of each country's performance over the years by averaging out their positions at the end of each tournament. In 3rd place, the 3rd most consistently successful team is Italy. Watch the pizza. With wins in both 1934 and 1938, then a long period of fairly ordinary performances until their runners-up in 1970. Then their 3rd and last win in Spain in 1982. And there's Tardello's triumphant goal, and watch him revelling in it. There he goes. Then their 2 recent defeats in finals in Italia 90 and 4 years later in the USA. So there we have it. In 16 World Cup tournaments over 68 years, Italy has finished up, on average, in 5th place, right the way across the tournaments. Now, a little bit better than that. The 2nd most successful team of all time in our consistency league, Brazil. They've qualified for every World Cup, 3rd in 1938, runners-up in 1950. In 1958, we see the start of their golden age. There's Pelé's great goal against Sweden. And Brazil retained the trophy in 1962. Now, since then, they've only failed twice, in 1966, when Pelé was fouled out of the tournament, and in 1990, when, frankly, they were hopeless. But since then, they've made up for it, winning in 1994 and only losing in the final to France in 1998, all of which makes Brazil the runners-up in our consistency league, finishing, on average, 4th in all World Cup tournaments. Now comes the bitter truth for England fans, the line showing the progress of the most consistently successful nation of all, Germany. Okay, here we see Germany's progress. Not allowed to enter in 1950, but winning the tournament in 1954. From then on, success all the way. Since 1950, they've never failed to get past the group stage, making the final itself in 66, of course, 1982 and 86, and winning in 1974 and again in 1990. And we're going to see Mateus here celebrating, and of course they go on to qualify for the quarterfinals in 94 and 98. All of which makes Germany the most consistently successful World Cup team of all time, with an average finishing position of 3rd, and nobody does better than that. So, now, how have England performed? Well, England was so toffee-nosed about the World Cup, they didn't even bother to enter till 1950, and they suffered humiliation at the hands of the USA. Then all goes quiet until, yippee, 1966, victory on home soil. But then, oh dear, our line does show something different, with failure even to qualify for the finals in 1974, 1978, and under Graham Taylor in 1994. And after Beckham's red card and England's defeat by Argentina in the most exciting game of the tournament, they missed the quarterfinals in 1998, and so England's record, they end up, on average, placed 9th in all the World Cup tournaments. So let's just look at the number of wins each country have had